Let's take a look at today's headlines from across Houston. Hello, I'm Len Cannon. A man taking a walk in West Harris County is attacked and killed by a pack of dogs. And the mother and child are now recovering after they were attacked by the same dogs. Surveillance video shows the moment the three dogs crossed the street and attacked the mother and her 3-year-old just outside their home, biting the woman on the leg. Neighbors tell our Troy Kless they're shocked and scared.
This is unbelievable. I just really can't. It's like, honestly, I'm nervous now. I don't know if I want to walk over here now.
Karen Scott says she would see a couple in passing on her usual morning walk.
Because, I mean, they walk every day. Him and his wife walk every single day. I don't care if it's cold, burning up, or whatever. Raining, they're going to walk.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office says a man in his 60s was walking along this trail when he failed to return home. Family went looking for him.
Our first witness actually saw the individual being attacked by the dogs, so we're not sure how he came upon the dogs.
Harris County deputies say the first attack happened along the walking trail around 10 a.m. A call came in about a second attack along Persimmon Creek Lane, where 3 dogs attacked a mom and her 3-year-old daughter. 3 dogs are now in animal control. One of them was tranquilized after a deputy shot one of the dogs.
Right now, homicide detectives are interviewing the owners of the dogs, trying to determine exactly how they escaped from the yard.
You want a second poll?
This surveillance video shows animal control taking one of the dogs into custody, a tragic reminder for residents to be cautious.
You know, the sheriff's office says that these dogs belong to someone. They're talking to the owner about what happened. When you hear that, what do you think?
That's pretty scary because, as I was saying, I don't really see any dogs without the person who owns the dog running around. Not even in the neighborhood.
That's Troy Kless reporting. We're also learning new details in the death of a Houston woman who police say was shot and killed by her boyfriend. Jesus Varela is charged with the murder of Crystal Rose Angel Ramirez. In court, prosecutors laid out what they say happened before, during, and after Ramirez's death. Orko Mena has been following this case from the very beginning, and we want to warn you, some of these details may be difficult to hear.
Filling trash bags with human remains, stuffing them into a barrel, and then leaving it in the woods. That's what prosecutors say Jesus Varela did with the body of his girlfriend, Crystal Rose Angel Ramirez, after allegedly killing her. Varela was denied bail and is here in jail. Meanwhile, Ramirez's family hopes justice is served.
Mr. Varela, I'm going to hear probable cause on your case.
Jesus Varela appearing in court today in an orange jumpsuit with his hands shackled. He's accused of shooting his girlfriend, Crystal Rose Angel Ramirez, to death on December 1st inside their Independence Heights home. Prosecutors say investigators found dried blood stains throughout the house.
There was also blood above the bed where the complainant would have been sleeping when she was shot.
Varela allegedly forced his nephew to help hide Ramirez's body, and he's also charged with assaulting that nephew while trying to get him to comply.
Fearing for his life, he helped the defendant with getting Rose in 4 black trash bags and placing her body face down in a plastic barrel.
Houston police say they found Ramirez's remains inside a chemical container in a wooded area near Rush Creek Drive and Ella Boulevard. Prosecutors say investigators pinged Varela's phone to the same spot on the day of the incident. Prosecutors also say Varela told police that he and Ramirez got into an argument around Thanksgiving, but he claimed she was not home when he came back from work on December 1st. Varela speaking briefly through a translator in court today.
Solamente que soy inocente.
I want to say only that I am innocent.
Ramirez's family devastated. Her life was cut short. They tell me she and Varela had an on and off again relationship that they say got abusive at times.
She didn't deserve to die like that. She didn't deserve to be found like trash. She was loved. She was very much loved.
With Varela now behind bars, loved ones have one wish for the accused.
I pray to God, that he learns what he did was wrong. And, I'm going to be there every day in court to make sure that they give him the maximum. I just want justice for Crystal Rose. That's all I want.
Varela is also on an ICE hold, but the details of that are unclear. He's scheduled to be back in court tomorrow. Reporting from the Harris County Jail, Orko Mena, KHOU 11 News.
This week, the music world mourning the death of Abraham Quintanilla, the father of the late Tejano superstar Selena. His death announced on Saturday. He was 86 years old. Ron Trevino looks back on the many interviews and interactions he had with Abraham Quintanilla.
We saw him most recently in the new Netflix Selena documentary. But so many of us in the Houston area, including me, got to know Abraham Quintanilla decades ago. In the days after Selena's murder, thousands of fans attended her memorial in Corpus Christi. And I was there when Abraham thanked them all for their love and support.
I want to thank the public in general for all the support they've given us in this time of sorrow for our family.
Then he said in Spanish the strongest memory he had was of her singing as a little girl.
La miro cantando cuando estaba chiquita.
Beyond heartbreaking to see him cry. He was a father in mourning and extremely protective of Selena's legacy. We saw him get fiery with news photographers when he felt he had to.
If this man doesn't turn that camera off, I ain't gonna say another word.
Where is he?
Which one? Right here.
Where is he? Where?
And he was a father full of love. I was there in his studio in Corpus when her album Dreaming of You was released, just months after her murder.
People that knew Selena will enjoy it as much as people who had never heard of Selena before. It shows off her versatility.
He told me that day it was a bittersweet time for the family, being so proud of her album, but the sense of loss was understandably overwhelming.
Whenever there's I might be talking and laughing, this and that, but the minute there's a vacuum in my mind, it just goes right back to Selena. And I guess it'll be like that for the rest of my life.
I would interview Abraham a few more times through the years. My memories of him will always be, well, heartbreaking. To only imagine what it would be like to lose a child. But through it all, in my times with him, he was always warm and friendly under the worst of circumstances for him. I'll never forget him. Abraham Quintanilla is gone now, but the music he brought to the world lives on. Back to you.
Ron Trevino reporting. That is a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Len Cannon.
I'm Cynthia Izaguirre in Dallas, and here are your headlines from North Texas. Take a look. This video shows the moment a driver speeds into a woman's yard, nearly hitting her home while speeding away from Fort Worth police. Brittany Costello spoke with that homeowner, and she said it's not the first time this has happened.
Police was chasing him down this way and hit right here.
The layers of protection.
It's loose, it's damaged.
From cement barriers.
That rock saved my house.
To boulders.
Yeah.
May have been the only reason things were not worse for Mary Aguado and her family.
We wanted quiet and we didn't get quiet.
They were having a garage sale when she heard sirens on Friday afternoon. It was a police chase on Garden Acres in Fort Worth. Police say the person they were chasing ran the stop sign and went straight through Aguado's gate. She says within a foot of her dining room window.
Imagine if they would have went straight right there where my mom was. And I was like, oh my God, not again. I was crying.
Police say they arrested the suspect with guns drawn. It was a 20-year-old man who refused to pull over. He was wanted for out-of-town warrants, now facing new charges.
I don't think it's fixable this time.
Her gate is destroyed again.
This is the second time a car has rammed through her fence in this exact spot. It happened once before, 1 year ago today, but that time the car actually hit her house.
It was a few months after she bought this house. She woke up to cracks in her wall, paint on her bricks, and a bumper in her yard.
My neighbors started coming by saying, I've seen this happen numerous times.
As she prepares to welcome her family to her home for the holidays, she's worried.
It's going to happen again and again and again.
Police told her the city would fix the damage, but she'd like to see them install a guardrail too.
The accidents are going to happen, but I just wish we had something there to protect my house, protect my kids.
She's adding a new wish to her Christmas list.
I would like to be able to go outside in peace.
In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
Dallas police say they plan to maintain heightened awareness amid Hanukkah celebrations. This comes after the Bondi beach attack in Australia. Luke Clary shows us a community coming together amid tragedy again.
For many in the Jewish community, it's a dark time for members of their faith. and you don't want to be afraid. It's a little scary coming here tonight.
Ada Drizzen is with the local Chabad, a Jewish organization with members around the world, including Sydney, Australia. A tragedy half a world away that hits close to home. Chabad said in a statement that Rabbi Eli Schlanger was one of the victims of the Bondi Beach shooting, a distant relative of Ada's.
My grandfather and his grandmother were siblings. It's really simple and really easy to kind of melt into the darkness and kind of let it just overtake you.
We know the people who were killed. We know their families.
Happy Hanukkah! But together, a show of defiance and solidarity on the first day of Hanukkah, the first public menorah lighting at SMU under the watchful eye of campus police. Dallas PD also promising vigilance.
They said that there are no credible threats in the city of Dallas, but to expect a heightened police presence and more awareness when it comes to events like this one.
Very, very thankful for them and the protection that they provide for the city and especially for our community, absolutely.
In spite of the darkness, they say there's still something to celebrate this holiday season.
Let's make the world a brighter place.
In Dallas, I'm Luke Clary.
AT&T says copper theft is surging across North Texas. Thieves are ripping out valuable copper wiring, knocking out internet, power, even 911 service in some cases. This year alone, the company has logged thousands of thefts nationwide, costing millions in repairs. The company is now offering a $10,000 reward to help catch those responsible. Well, finally, Child Protective Services is helping Santa out. Kevin Reese shows us how hundreds of families in need are about to be visited by their own personal elf.
Do y'all have anything for
Inside a North Richland Hills church.
Oh my goodness, how sweet.
The one with the candy cane columns.
Maybe I think a Barbie doll would do her justice.
Aja Alexander went shopping.
Oh, it's Elsa and Anna. Okay, we'll do Elsa. I like Elsa.
Today, one of 200 social workers shopping for 500 children.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Caseworkers offer the chance to shop for free.
I think this one would be great. We're gonna grab a foosball table.
For the families they've been helping all year.
13 children today and 6 families. So any way that we can assist with Christmas presents, I feel like there should be no child left behind in that sense.
All of this comes from donations from churches and corporations and individuals.
And then overnight, we turn empty space into a store.
Daniqua Lewis says these toys are going to families in 10 counties throughout North Texas, helping caseworkers support their families in a way they could not do on their own.
And there we are.
And we're able to make Christmas a joyful and loving occasion for a child and family.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Aja's day as a Christmas elf.
That's awesome.
Includes boxes of free food from Minnie's Food Pantry. All loaded into her car to be delivered to her families this week.
This is going to be so exciting. Look at that. A full car. I'm hoping we can really be like a positive light in a lot of these families' lives this year.
Caseworkers often make the news when they intervene with a family in crisis. Today is different.
And obviously this is going to impact so many families so well this holiday season.
A season of giving she and her sleigh are happy to share.
And we make something big and we make it beautiful.
In North Richland Hills, I'm Kevin Reese.
And those are your headlines from North Texas.
Hello, I'm Grace Thornton with your Texas weather headlines as we head into another week here. We're cold today, but warming for tomorrow and the rest of the week. For most of us Texans, showers and rain may be possible for a few of us on Wednesday. Those central east areas and especially areas in the south around San Antonio and Brownsville. And of course, another cold front is on the way as we head into another week. So over the next 3 days, we're generally seeing a warming trend across the whole of the state here. So you can see up to almost 80 degrees in some spots by Thursday, 78 for Austin. We're looking at 82 for Corpus Christi, 85 for Brownsville, and also quite a warming trend out towards Houston as well. If you are situated out towards the west of the state, we're still seeing a warming trend, but temperatures will dip on Thursday because of that cold front I was mentioning. That cold front will reach the central and eastern portions of the state by Friday. So here's a look as we head into our Tuesday morning morning temperatures will be, yes, much less brisk than what they were on Monday. 40s for areas along the I-35 corridor, as well as 50s too, and some 30s out towards the panhandle there, as well as West Texas. Then we start to see the potential for that rain and drizzle with those clouds down towards the south by 1 a.m. on Wednesday, so overnight hours. This will pick up as we head into Wednesday morning around 6 a.m. there. This will affect those southern areas of the I-35 corridor from Austin south down towards Brownsville, and then move over the Houston, Corpus Christi area as we head into our Wednesday afternoon. Now, past that, we will start to see those clouds go away from us. They will head off towards the east, giving way to rain chances out towards the Mississippi Valley, and we're not expecting to pick up a lot of beneficial rain from this event. Again, most of us will end up with just hundredths of an inch of rain, if not maybe a half an inch down towards that Brownsville area. So as we move into the latter half of the week, I mentioned that cold front that will be incoming mainly throughout our Thursday and into early Friday morning, dipping down into the northern and northwestern sides of the state by midnight on Friday, and then eventually moving through all the way for your Friday afternoon, which will keep temperatures just a touch cooler than what they were earlier on this week. So expect a little bit of a cool down on Friday, but again, not much of one, probably only falling by about 10 degrees for those afternoon highs. Now let's move into the holiday forecast. As we look into our 6 to 10 day temperature changes, we're expecting warm temperatures, not just for Texas, but across the entirety of the country. Now, if we zoom in on Texas, it looks like most of us will see not only above average temperatures, but well above average temperatures, and high confidence for that as well. So if you're making plans for Christmas, be counting on a warm forecast as well as hopefully a dry forecast. Areas on the north side of the state looking to see a higher confidence for a dry Christmas there, or at least from the 21st out to the 25th. Some lesser chances down towards the south, but I think most of us will get away with a warm and dry Christmas Eve as well as Christmas. All right, drought monitor hasn't really changed too much over Texas. We're still seeing extreme to severe categories of drought down to the south of Austin there. Over the next couple of days, again, we're mostly talking about a warming trend Tuesday and through Wednesday. Now, depending on where you are for Thursday, if you're in the west, temperatures will be falling down by Thursday with that new incoming cold front, as well as in the north. We'll probably just be in the 60s on Thursday and 60s on Wednesday too. But if you are in the east, central, south, or the valley, we're looking at warmer temperatures as we head into our Thursday, and then a bit of a cool down for our Friday. We'll have more weather headlines for the rest of your week coming tomorrow.
I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. A man is shot in the chest after showing up at his ex-girlfriend's apartment. He was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police say officers were actually already on scene for a burglary call at the complex on Vance Jackson when a worker heard the gunshots and flagged down officers. They found the victim with one gunshot wound to his chest. He told investigators a man shot him through the apartment door. That man then left the scene and has yet to be found. The owners of a popular downtown bar say they're heartbroken after two men were shot outside of the establishment early Monday. Zach Briggs breaks down what happened.
Inside Bentley's bar across the street is where San Antonio police say a fight took place. Things escalated and it led to shots fired outside in the parking lot.
This happened around 1:30 this morning, just before the bar closed. Loads of people outside when police got on scene. Officers learned from witnesses that both men, the 58-year-old complainant and 29-year-old suspect, were rushed to the hospital by people they knew. As far as their conditions, officials say they've sustained life-threatening injuries, and no word on any other suspects at this time.
On the north side, I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
The group Moms Demand Action gathered for a candlelight vigil honoring victims of gun violence and demanding change. Mike Jimenez shares the powerful moments.
Families gathered at Main Plaza with prayers and candlelights, with each flame representing the cherished life of a loved one gone too soon.
You're around with people that know what you're feeling.
Sunday, Janie Edwards joined other mothers at a vigil as part of the local chapter of Moms Demand Action. In July of 2016, Edwards' son, Isaac Orozco, was shot and killed outside his Northwest Side apartment. His case remains unsolved. For Edwards, attending the vigil allows her to honor her son's memory and be close to other mothers who have experienced the same loss.
A lot of people don't understand until you've lost a child or lost somebody in this form of way.
The vigil was part of the Worldwide Candle Lighting Day, held every second Sunday in December to honor children and loved ones who have died at the hands of violence.
It's crucial that we keep our loved ones in our hearts and we keep their memories alive. It's tough for people to come out and talk about it.
Angie Jen with Moms Demand Action says talking about it could save other lives and says the vigil is also an opportunity to talk about gun violence awareness.
Just so happens that yesterday there was a shooting at Brown University, and just wanted to extend our condolences to all the students and faculty and the Providence community. We don't have to live like this. These situations are preventable.
Another mother who knows the pain of losing a child to violence is Josefina Cannon, whose son Sean Cannon was shot and killed near Edison High School in October of 2013. His case also remains unsolved.
It's extremely important to have, to acknowledge and to honor my son's memory, and to make sure that people don't forget that we are still looking for closure or for justice. We need justice.
According to the CDC, since 2020, gun-related injuries are the leading cause of death among children and teens. Edwards says it's a shame that many choose gun violence to try to solve issues.
It's sad that it has to come down to people just picking up guns and shooting each other.
And the local chapter Moms Demand Action say they encourage people to get involved with your community, safely store guns, and to contact lawmakers to advocate for sensible gun laws. Mike Jimenez, KINS 5.
In Universal City, officials are still working to determine what caused a devastating apartment fire earlier this month. Meredith Haas brings us the update.
Officials tell us they have multiple leads right now, but they couldn't specify what exactly led to this fire. Jody Marquez with Infinity Property Management that oversees Falcon Ridge says every tenant affected has been refunded their rent and released from their leases. While security is on site, residents have been allowed in to get their personal items. Marquez says every person has been rehoused. Now, Universal City Fire Marshal Justin Garcia says 61 units were affected. Garcia says they have multiple leads on what could have caused this fire. And from day one, the Baptist Church of Universal City was out helping residents, gathering donations and money to help them rebuild their lives.
Our entire space within about 36 hours. We had to turn people away. It was amazing. Obviously, it does not meet all the need of these displaced residents, but we were thankful that we could be one small part of seeing people helped.
Most of the devastation that you see on the roof line and the spread of the fire was wind-driven.
The First Baptist Church is accepting monetary donations at this time for individual residents and families affected by this fire. You can head on over to fbcuc.org to give that donation. Meredith Haas, KINS 5.
A woman is recovering after being attacked by 2 stray dogs while she was jogging. Simone Simpson has a story on how police caught them.
On what should have been a peaceful Saturday morning jog on the southeast side, the calm quickly turned into panic.
The woman did have to receive stitches.
It wasn't danger on 4 wheels, but 4 legs.
The dogs in question, including the biting dog, just one of the animals apparently was involved in the actual bite incident itself. Both of them are listed as American Staffordshire Terrier blend.
According to police, they were sent to the 3100 block of Hiawatha Street Saturday around 9 a.m. That's where they found a 59-year-old woman who told officers she was exercising when she was approached by 2 stray dogs. The animals became aggressive and began biting her. Luckily, the woman was able to fight them off, but suffered injuries to her knee. Neighbors say stray dogs in this area is a big problem. Some of them walk around with large sticks to defend themselves, just in case.
And I would say that that's probably a really good thing to do to protect yourself. regardless of whether you're concerned about other animals that might be out or you're concerned about maybe people.
Lisa Norwood with San Antonio Animal Care Services says they're still investigating if the 2 dogs are truly strays or have owners.
When we allow our pets to roam, not only is there a potential danger for our neighbors, for our friends, for our family, we've also got the potential for danger to that pet themselves.
Both dogs are in ACS custody. The dog that bit the woman is in quarantine.
Reporting from Southside Lions Park, Simone Simpson, KENS 5.
Just in time for the holidays, families impacted by the 4th of July floods received a much-needed lift in Kerr County. On Saturday, Mattress Mac and Gallery Furniture gave away 600 free mattresses at the Centerpoint Volunteer Fire Department. The giveaway supported flood-affected residents and first responders, with families lining up early to receive mattresses and toys for children. And that's the news in San Antonio.
Here are your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Tia Johnson. The timeline for the state's takeover of Beaumont ISD started Monday. BISD must submit information for the commissioner to consider. It's for informal review regarding the appointment of the new board of managers and a conservator. That review will happen on Wednesday at 9:30 in Austin. The TEA will officially take control of BISD in the spring. Operational changes, including a new board of managers, changes to the curriculum, and the master schedule will start to affect the district during the 2026 through 2027 school year. Now, BISD will need to get a C performance for 2 consecutive years before the state can return control to the district. Superintendent Dr. Shannon Allen shared a message with parents and staff as they prepare for the transition, addressing anyone who may be feeling anxious about the changes.
Our day-to-day work continues without interruption. Our schools remain open, our teachers remain in their classrooms, our principals remain committed to their campuses, and our students will continue learning, growing, and being supported.
The state will replace Dr. Allen and the school board. Elected officials are ready to take their new seats in the city of Port Neches. This weekend, voters decided on 2 positions, including the mayoral race. This race was a close one. However, Robert Arnold won the mayoral seat with 51% and 988 votes. Before winning his new title as mayor, Arnold served as place 4 council member. Current place 5 council member Terry Schwartner came in second with only 48% and 925 votes. Paul Lamoni was elected for council member place 4 with 57% and 1,100 votes. His opponent Trace Hammond received 42% with 813 votes. A man has been arrested in Hardin County for his role in an aggravated kidnapping with a deadly weapon. Newton Police Chief Will Jackson tells us the incident took place back on October 18th. Chief Jackson says 22-year-old Joseph Smith, along with 3 other men, are accused of forcing a man into a car at gunpoint. It took place at a home on Wood Street in Newton County. That man was then taken to a home in Huntington in Angelina County where he was assaulted. Chief Jackson says the 23-year-old victim later went to the Angelina County Sheriff's Office and reported that he was kidnapped and assaulted. Chief Jackson says the incident happened over a dispute over property. And those were the headlines from Southeast Texas.
I'm Lindsay Lippman. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. Central Texas residents were in a frenzy over what some thought was an earthquake, but it was just military exercises. Fort Hood says this week B-52 bombers from an Air Force base in Louisiana are doing training flights. They say the training involves dropping 500-pound bombs. But why did we feel the bombs all the way in Temple? A Baylor science expert explains the science behind that.
Thunder. Can be very loud and cause vibrations and shaking in your home and things like that. But it's just sound waves. It's just air molecules vibrating and bumping into each other. And it may, surprise you or catch you off guard. But just realize it's just because you have the unique situation in the atmosphere that sets up to where you can hear those sounds better.
So there you have it. Colder weather causes noise to travel further and also makes it louder than usual. The shaking will happen all week as the exercises are planned to last through Friday. As a result, officials warn that Central Texans may see, hear, and feel increased military activity. The legal battle surrounding suspended Fort Hood OBGYN Major Blaine McGraw continues. Another law firm filed 7 federal complaints on behalf of alleged victims, claiming the Army failed to protect patients. As those cases move forward, a Texas law is showing it can help families in cases like this one. Juliana Jackson spoke with the state lawmaker who authored the invasive recording bill and explains how it applies to this case.
State Representative Hillary Hicklin saw a gap in the law.
Invasive visual recording is a sexual crime in the penal code, but the offenders were not required to be listed on the sex offender registry.
House Bill 1465 took effect in September. Now, anyone convicted of invasive visual recording must register as a sex offender for life, even if they move.
We will be protecting victims and also future victims by requiring offenders to be listed on that registry.
The law also expands protections to medical settings where patients expect privacy during exams. That makes it directly relevant to the case against former Fort Hood OBGYN Major Blaine McGraw. The Army has filed 64 charges against the 47-year-old OBGYN. 44 victims are named in the military case, but more than 100 women have come forward with their allegations against McGraw.
Victims who would expect a place of trust and healing put in harm's way and without their knowledge.
It's caught the attention of Texas congressional leaders. Congressman John Carter and August Pfluger, along with Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, are demanding answers from the Army's Inspector General in a congressional letter. The letter calls for an independent investigation into McGraw and the Army's handling of the case. Hicklin says she's willing to look at additional protections, including potential chaperone requirements in medical settings.
Texas is always going to move forward with looking for ways to support our military, protect victims of these types of crimes. It's something that we take seriously.
McGraw remains in pretrial confinement at the Bell County Jail. Meantime, Texas State Technical College is taking flight into the future of aviation training. The college unveiled a new fleet of aircraft designed to better prepare students for careers in the airline industry while also strengthening the region's workforce pipeline. TSTC's Aircraft Pilot Training Program is debuting 5 new Piper Pilot 100I airplanes. The aircraft are the latest additions to the program's growing fleet and will be used by both students and certified flight instructors. Flight instructor Ryan Hermes says the older training aircraft relied on traditional 6-pack steam gauges, technology that's disappearing from commercial aviation. The new Piper aircraft will more closely resemble what pilots will encounter in airline cockpits. Hermes says this new fleet is a major step forward for students' growth.
Transitioning to this plane, because I have to teach out of it now, I didn't realize how many things that I'm starting to learn and how much that's transitioning to the 121, part 121, the commercial lifestyle. Again, this is going to be something that's going to make their transition a lot easier. I do think situational awareness is going to be increased to where you're focusing on older equipment that won't show you where traffic is, doesn't have a moving map. These are all things that are aids towards the student and helps their flying ability.
With more advanced equipment and industry-aligned training, TSTC hopes the new fleet will not only elevate students' success, but also position Central Texas as a hub for aviation workforce development. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.
Hey there, in Austin, I'm Mark Mullins. A local tattoo shop is asking the community for help after police say a drunk driver crashed into the building. No one was hurt, but since the crash happened last Sunday, they have not been able to have customers in the store, which, as KVU's Daniel Perot tells us, is hard for tattoo artists in the midst of a holiday season.
Video shows the moment a truck slammed into the front of Studio Inc. on East 7th Street on the night of December 7th, shattering the front window and destroying part of the wall between the tattoo shop and a pizza shop next door.
It really looks like an earthquake.
Austin police say the truck's driver was drunk and hit several other cars before slamming into the building. Shortly after the crash, officers arrested him for DWI.
That thing was really traveling with a lot of force, a lot of speed to bend that solid steel beam like that.
Studio Inc. owner Mark Strong says it's a miracle no one was hurt at his shop or next door.
because usually somebody would be sitting right here at the front desk. Could have turned an accident into a tragedy.
The front window has been boarded up. Inside the lobby, which took the brunt of it, the scars are still visible.
There's some broken glass and some bricks and some cleaning that needs to be done and some repair work.
When the car slammed into the front of the building, it hit a beam in the wall between Studio Inc. and Domino's. Strong says if that didn't happen, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Had it been 2 feet to the right or to the left, it would have gone crashing all the way through Domino's or all the way through our studio.
He says insurance will cover the costs of repairing the damage, but for the tattoo artists,
we've lost a week's worth of time, that we could have been tattooing, that we could have been earning money, and especially right before the holidays, that's, doubly impactful.
To help the artists, Strong has started a fundraiser online, which has so far raised nearly $1,000.
Trying to recoup a little bit of the lost time and lost business due to being unable to work, for the last week.
After a lot of cleaning and just over a week, on Monday, Studio Inc. reopened. This new sign out front pointing the way to tattoo stations undamaged and artists eager to get back to inking people up. Daniel Perot, KVUE News, Austin.
Del Valley ISD is getting financial help from the federal government to boost mental health resources. The U.S. Department of Education announced it has awarded a $1.1 million grant to the district. The money will go toward recruiting, training, and employing mental health service providers across its campuses. In a statement, U.S. Senator John Cornyn wrote that schools usually don't have the needed staff or resources to help their students, adding that this grant will help close the gap and make sure schools are more equipped to identify signs of crisis. The San Marcos Police Department is making sure more officers are equipped to handle mental health calls. The department says that every eligible frontline officer has earned the Mental Health Peace Officer certification. State law requires a minimum of 2 years of service before an officer can begin that coursework. Officials with San Marcos PD said that newer officers meet that 2-year mark, they'll go through the training too. Chief Stan Standridge says this training helps ensure officers are prepared to respond to mental health crises by de-escalating, supporting the person, and connecting them to help. Austin city leaders are getting ready for the possibility of a winter storm sometime this season, and they're urging the community to do the same. On Monday, they're reminding everyone to sign up for emergency notifications. You can do that by going to warncentraltexas.org. Leaders say you should also prepare an emergency kit with things like basic first aid items and enough water and non-perishable food to last everyone in your household for 7 days. City and county leaders say they're working hard to be prepared too, but unexpected things can still happen.
How we prepare and how we react will never be perfect. Either you individually, you as a family, you as neighbors, you as friend groups, the city, the county, it will never turn out to be a perfect result. Some things just aren't anticipated. We try to anticipate everything, but some things come fast and they come in a way as hazards that you can't anticipate. But we are going to be prepared to react as rapidly as is humanly possible.
City leaders say while meteorologists are predicting a mild winter, it's still important to be prepared. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing 5 major TV makers over privacy concerns. The lawsuits claim Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, and TCL are secretly spying on Texans. They claim the TVs use hidden software to track what people watch, collect screen data, and sell that information for targeted ads without consent. The Attorney General says that violates privacy rights and raises serious concerns about consumer data, especially because 2 of those companies are based in China. People still came out to celebrate the lighting of the menorah in Austin Sunday after a terror attack in Australia targeted the Jewish community during a Hanukkah celebration there. KVUE's Daniel Gomez shows us why they say resilience is all in the spirit of the holiday.
The first day of Hanukkah, an 8-day Jewish holiday that revolves around lights.
The attack was an attack on all of us.
Now having to shine brighter under darker circumstances.
Unfortunately, it's not new to us to have our celebrations be surrounded by police officers with machine guns.
At least 15 were killed in a shooting on a menorah lighting in Sydney, Australia Sunday. Lisa Samuels, Ali Heyer, and more Jewish Austinites still coming together to celebrate the first day of Hanukkah.
The world has become increasingly a scarier place for Jewish people.
hopes and spirits still remaining high here at the Shabbat of Austin's menorah lighting. Rabbi Yosef Levertov felt it important to not cancel in light of the tragedy.
We're standing up and we are in solidarity with the people who suffered, and we are actually, the message of Hanukkah is this exact story.
The light on the menorah is a symbol of resilience. Anyone here can tell you that. And that couldn't be more clear than with the turnout at the menorah lighting tonight.
It's a matter of just overcoming obstacles. And this is a vulnerable community.
Austin City Councilman Mark Duchin represents this part of the city in West Austin. He is Jewish as well. Coming out to celebrate his faith with his fellow Jewish Austinites is important to him personally.
I've got a lot of the community in my district, and it's imperative that I'm a good steward for that community as I am for all the communities that we represent.
A dark day for the Jewish community, determined not to lose their light.
We will increase with light.
With photojournalist Lauren Ryan in Austin, Daniel Gomez, KVUE News.
This week, the Austin community is mourning the loss of former Mayor Frank Cooksey. Cooksey passed away at the age of 92. According to reporting from our partners at the Austin American-Statesman, his daughter confirmed he was taken off life support after suffering a brain bleed. Cooksey served as mayor from 1985 until 1988. His time in office helped shape transportation and economic development in Austin. His political life began at UT Austin, where he served as student body president in the 1950s. He also practiced law for 40 years, including stints as a civil rights attorney at the Department of Justice, assistant U.S. attorney, and special attorney general of Texas. In a social media post Monday, Austin Mayor Kirk Watson called Cooksey, quote, dedicated, enthusiastic, and a proud public servant, writing that Frank spent his entire career, fighting for the rights of others and for conserving our environment. Congressman Lloyd Doggett also honored Cooksey's life and legacy, writing that Frank was a force for social justice and the environment from his time at his UT student government to serving as mayor and even in retirement. Those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Mark Mullins.
Hi, I'm Brennan Gurley, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. Jewish leaders here in East Texas tell CBS 19 they are horrified by the anti-Semitic terrorist shooting in Australia and say it's a tragedy this happened on the first night of Hanukkah. But Sunday was less about celebrating and more about remembering the 16 people who died in that shooting and the countless injured. Rabbi Neil Katz of Congregation Bethel says this was a deliberate terrorist attack targeting the Jewish community in Sydney as they celebrated the first night of Hanukkah. Rabbi Katz says this tragedy is a reminder of the importance of unity, family, and keeping faith alive during Hanukkah.
I say that this isn't new to us. It is still painful. It is still scary. And I often say history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So trying to destroy Yom Kippur or Simchat Torah, which is another Jewish holiday, or Hanukkah, it doesn't work because the Jewish people have an antibody, and that is resilience and our faith. And that's where we're going to be focusing during our strength during the celebration of Hanukkah this year.
Cases of norovirus are on the rise in Texas.
So we have this thing called the winter vomiting virus, aka norovirus. It's very contagious.
Dr. Jenny Zing at the UT Health East Texas Physician Clinic says there's a new strain of the norovirus this year that is more contagious than in recent years. The symptoms include vomiting, nausea, and low-grade fever. It can be transmitted through the air and by touching contaminated surfaces, so hand washing and cleaning commonly shared surfaces can minimize your chances of getting sick. She also says if you aren't feeling well, don't spoil somebody else's Christmas.
If you have the symptoms of fever, chills, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, make sure you get tested at a doctor's office before you go to a gathering, especially during this time before Christmas. It's very important to make sure that you stay healthy before attending any gatherings.
While there is no cure for norovirus, staying hydrated can help you beat it quicker, and over-the-counter medicines can help alleviate some of those symptoms. And that's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Brennan Gurley.
Hi, I'm Leslie Adamy in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening here in South Texas. Corpus Christi's requests to exempt 2 painted crosswalks from TxDOT's pavement marking directive have been denied. The original order was to remove any political artistic markings from public streets, saying they don't meet federal safety standards. TxDOT confirmed the city's painted crosswalks are considered to be non-compliant. The city manager says the work to remove the crosswalks will begin next month. And 2 days following the passing of Abraham Quintanilla, stories of his impact continue to pour in from across the coastal bend. Our Natalia Osuna spoke with those who share his favorite eatery, where his legacy is still felt.
After hearing of Abraham Quintanilla's passing, many hearts were left empty. But in the heart of Corpus Christi, Hi-Ho Restaurant remains bustling and full with people, keeping his memory alive.
But he was here almost every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes for lunch.
Other regulars, Elba Reyes and Juan Rodriguez,
from my understanding, that was him and Selena's favorite restaurant.
Say they eat at Hi-Ho 2 or 3 times a week, running into Quintanilla many a time.
He came in here almost as much as we did. Sometimes I would see him quite a bit of times here.
Hi-Ho server Maria Fregoso spent 9 years bringing Quintanilla's favorite dishes to his table.
Le gustaba comer el chicharrón con huevo, le gustaba el omelette, le gustaban las enchiladas.
Fregoso describing Quintanilla's favorite menu items, saying the Quintanillas are like family to the whole team.
Un placer para mí.
It was a pleasure for me to meet him and get to know him. And for Hi-Ho owner Ricardo Garcia,
it was very great to me. I honor him so much, and I'm going to miss him a lot.
Quintanilla was a dear mentor throughout the years.
He meant the world to me, and Mr. Quintanilla always helped a lot of artists, and always sent people here to eat, and he always brought a lot of people with him. I have nothing but respect for that man.
And for longtime music executive Jose Rosario,
we stayed in contact throughout the 40 years. Especially after Selena passed. We would talk almost every day or every other day. Anytime he was missing Selena, he would call me. Sometimes, he would call me like at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and I knew that he was missing Selena.
Meanwhile, some say that Quintanilla's memory will live on within the walls of Hi-Ho and beyond.
I wouldn't doubt if his picture doesn't end up here also.
That was our Natalia Osuna with that report. And the Tejano world losing not one giant in the genre just this weekend, but 2. The Q Productions team is also mourning the loss of family friend and legendary producer Manny Guerra. Guerra was known as a Tejano innovator and hitmaker. He is credited for championing the shift from live orchestral music to modern synthesizers. That move not only helped create a Tejano golden age, it also influenced the sound of the genre's biggest artists.
Out of the 25 hits on the national charts for Tejano music, Manny Music owned 20. Manny wanted to appeal to a younger generation, and he knew that through Selena y Los Dinos, he would be able to do that. So
Guerra and the Quintanillas worked closely together, even becoming lifelong friends. Guerra died on Friday after a long illness. He was 85 years old. And that's a quick look at some of what's happening here in South Texas.